What's up? It's the Brunch Breakdown, and it is Super Bowl Part 2. We previewed the Super Bowl. Now the Super Bowl is done, and we get to talk about all the things we want to talk about. Halftime show, the commercials, and whatever the hell that game was. So we're wrapping up the Super Bowl this week on the Brunch Breakdown, and everybody's got opinions on it, and so do we. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna hear from Chris, who's not with us right now because we are, podcasting on a Monday afternoon, so he's not here with us. So, but we're gonna hear from him in a little bit
Yeah,
and more. It's the Brunch Breakdown. Dan, let everybody know where they can find us.
certainly. And that's anywhere podcasts are available is where you can find us. It's that simple. Hit follow, hit subscribe. New episodes come to you each and every Wednesday. When you hit that button, it comes to you as well. No chasing it down, right to you each and every Wednesday. Okay. Full video episodes as well. Also available on Wednesdays, exclusively on three channels: YouTube, Facebook, Spotify. Okay, is where you can find the video episodes. They're not going to be there first thing in the morning because you don't need to see us first thing in the morning. However, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, they premiere, they debut, and you can watch anytime you'd like to after that. Everywhere on social media at Brunch Breakdown. And then, of course, we've got the Sounds of Brunch, which is the playlist of what we are listening to this week. Plus, last week, got feedback from an avid listener yesterday that the playlist has been fire lately. So, appreciate that feedback as always. So, dive in, enjoy as well. It gets updated each and every Friday, exclusively on Friday. Tell Siri, tell Alexa, Gemini, whoever it might be. They're all out there. Hey, play me the Sounds of Brunch and enjoy.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful, Dan.
Thank you.
Very well said.
Thank you.
Well, this is where we get random topics off our chest, and I have a random thing I want to get off my chest right now.
Okay.
I understand now why people have Super Bowl parties.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Because you really can't enjoy the Super Bowl with your small children.
Uh-oh.
And this is the first year that we have had the Super Bowl where it wasn't a party that, Siobhan wanted to go to take the older kids to, just wasn't really feeling it. And this is the first year that most of my house doesn't take naps.
Ooh.
So it was a very annoying Super Bowl experience. And I gotta say, yeah, we did it. We made it through.
Wow.
Everybody ate chicken wings. Everybody was fine. It was just, man, I understand it now. I get it. I get it. I get it. You
Interesting.
want to get the hell away from your people to enjoy the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And so I get it now. I understand it. Doesn't mean I'm going to start going to Super Bowl parties. Just means, I might have the babysitter come and me and Siobhan will just get like a hotel room and watch.
Okay. I was gonna say because we've talked about Super Bowl parties and you're kind of you're not in favor. So I did. You're
I'm
not in
not,
first in course though.
but I get it now.
Okay.
I get it now because when your kids are a little bit older than mine are, which we're almost there, you know what I mean? They're just running around doing whatever the fuck they want to at a Super Bowl party or at your
Yeah.
house, and it doesn't really matter, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But at the ages that we got, 6, 4, and 2, 4 and 2, they're really annoying still
Ooh.
when you're, trying to watch something at which another thing is the time on the West Coast. It's 3 o'clock.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like that's just like prime time for them to just be fools. It's not like it's on it's not like it's 6:30, 7 o'clock where like at halftime you're putting people to bed at halftime.
Make
You know what I
true.
mean?
Right. Right.
But here it's different. The game's over at 7 o'clock. And in case of that game, the game was over well before then. So I didn't have an excuse to be like, hey, can you guys just like chill out? No, because the game was over in the first quarter. So, just want to get it off my
Hmm.
chest. I understand Super Bowl parties, specifically on the West Coast. I get why people go to them and make their kids go somewhere else. I get
That's
it.
it. That's interesting. We talk a lot about the time differences between the East and the West Coast, but the one that we haven't really discussed is the Super Bowl and how awesome that must be to have it in the afternoon. I'll tell you, like you mentioned, we're recording this on Monday. It was a scarce day in the office. Scarce. Very, very scarce. Um, and so yeah, much later on the East Coast. In fact, like you mentioned, putting people to bed. Chris put himself to bed. Um, can't finish the Super Bowl. Can't outlast your kids. But I hear that. I hear that, and that's going to be tricky for you. That's going to be tricky for
Yeah.
you. It's not going to get any easier the next couple of years because you're going to have two to one to two of your children in that age range for the next couple. One's going to get older and be okay, but they're still going to be in
Yeah.
that age range. So you're going to have to be better future planning for next couple
Yeah.
Super Bowls.
Yeah. It's almost, I feel like there will be Super Bowl parties in my future that I will be
Hmm.
going to because of that. It's like, it's still time for them to run around. And it's
Yeah.
just kind of, yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. 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 So,
Well, interestingly enough, what I want to get off my chest briefly here today, because we got a lot of game talk to cover, it's in the same category of a Super Bowl party. And a Super Bowl blowout in the fashion that you were rooting for is the only time to have a Super Bowl party and enjoy it and allow rules to be broken.
yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Especially when Tom Brady is the color commentator.
Oh,
Because that's one of my rules. Was like I basically laid it down last week. There's no talking. But when it's over Tom Brady, you don't hate that. You're not mad at that. And when it's during a blowout where you're not holding your breath each and every second of every play, it's like this is why it would go to Super Bowl parties. This is when you do it. This is enjoyable. I like this. This is fun. And so it's been a long time for me personally to watch a Super Bowl and it go the way that I was rooting for. And naturally, we're going to get into the game here momentarily, but the fashion that game went just made it feel more like a party rather than kind of a. For some reason, the Super Bowl still stresses me out when my team's not involved. It just does. I want to hear and feel. I made sure I had the seat right up as close to the television as possible, but around other people, it was delightful. It was delightful. So I could only if I could only set that standard moving forward. The next time we get a Super Bowl blowout, I don't. I feel like it's not frequent. It's not frequent. So I'm sure Super Bowl parties will annoy me again in 52 weeks. But for this year, I'm for 'em. I'm for 'em.
that is very true because I was thinking about the last two Super Bowl parties that I've been to, and or at least that I can remember. I may have been, but the last two I can remember, they were bad Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Like it was when we all were hyped to watch Cam Newton in the Super Bowl because it
Mm,
was the year of Cam, and then they got just housed by
right.
Denver, who didn't even have a quarterback. They had
Right.
one arm Peyton Manning handing off to people, but like the greatest defense of all time.
Yeah.
And it was just awful. But Beyonce performed at halftime with
Mm,
Bruno Mars and Coldplay, and that was like one of the best halftime shows ever. So that was great.
true.
But that's all I remember from that game. So it's like that was a terrible Super Bowl. And another one was the Rams Patriots Super Bowl, where the Rams were like the best offense ever
Oh,
with Jared
yeah.
Goff, and then like they just didn't score. It was 13-3, I think it was.
Yeah.
That was the
Oh,
Super
yeah.
Bowl,
That one was
13-3.
brutal.
And
Yep.
those were two times where I agree with everything you're saying. It was like, yeah, that was it. Like you needed to be at a party for games like this.
Yep. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
just like, you're just like, okay, this game's over with. And now you're
Yep.
just watching, waiting for
Yeah.
a commercial or
Dude,
something. You might be happy with the result,
seriously.
but it's still like, oof.
Yeah.
You wouldn't normally if two teams, if take away the teams, if there was an NFL score and it was like 40-6, you wouldn't keep watching that game all the way through if you had no rooting interest.
No.
Right?
Like,
Right? So like that's why you need a party to keep the interest and buzz alive. Because in a normal situation, you're not watching that all the way through. But it's a Super Bowl, and so it helps you. You
yeah,
socialize with it.
that's very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Well, got things off our chest. Dan, what were you sipping on?
A
during
lot
the
of good
game.
stuff. A lot of good
Yeah.
stuff. Still got a lot of fall beers kind of hanging around, and
Okay.
still living in Lagerland. I am in the winter here. So Southern Tier had a Southern Tier. It was a specially made lager. And it was called the Sauna Sessions Steam Lager, and it was really nice. It was really nice, smooth, malty, and it had this very interesting kind of fruity note to it, which like lager, malty, no, those don't really
True.
jam at all. But it had this, and it was subtle, but like it was still there. You really couldn't miss it. You really couldn't miss. So it wasn't that subtle, but odd. But I liked it. I liked it, and my wife doesn't like heavily malty beer. She doesn't like the maltiness or the caramel. Like she doesn't like it. But she
Mhm.
enjoyed this one. I think that fruity sweetness balanced it out somehow for her. But I wanted to throw that in on Brews Day because it was a little bit of a unique feel, and it was delightful sipping on that watching the big game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Sounds
What about you?
delightful.
Yeah. What you
Well,
got?
I was drinking because I was at Whole Foods has a great local like beer and wine selection. They have like the local things that tell you where it's local. And I was in there to return some stuff from Amazon, and the Amazon machine wasn't working. So I
Hmm.
had to like wait for them to fix it. So then I'm walking around Whole Foods. Of course, I go to the beer and wine section, and I found a possible beer of the year. Topa Topa Brewing Company in Camarillo, which is in Ventura County, which is like big surfing area, like for like hour away from where I live, right?
Yeah.
So like not far from Los Angeles, but like big surfing country out there, right? And it is a hazy IPA with tropical, dank, and citrus notes.
Oh,
And
okay.
I mean, let me tell you, this thing is just really good, man. Because I've been having a lot of I like my hazies, but there's been a lot of hazies that are like way too heavy on the fruit, and you're missing,
Mm.
you're not getting that bite. I like the hops. Like I
Yeah.
know a lot of people, it's the reason if you don't like IPAs, you don't like the hops, and that's fine.
Right.
But that's one of the things I like them, and I feel like I've been drinking a lot that just kind of started to taste like juice. It was like
Mm-hmm.
I've been drinking, it's like there's a fine line. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, okay, you guys were a little heavy-handed on this. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I want to taste like I'm drinking beer. You know what I mean? I don't need to like chug it like I'm drinking fucking Kool-Aid or something. Like no one needs to do that. Like I don't want to do that. I want to enjoy it. And this is a perfect balance of that. And yeah, Topa Topa Brewing Company Spectro Hazy IPA. Love this.
Nice. I love
Yeah.
that. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and you're right. Fair on the description there. That you still need a little bit of that. It's an IPA for crying out loud,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's hold true to that. Let's hold true to
Yeah,
that. Let's not go too far.
exactly.
Nice.
Well, cheers, Dan.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right. Let's get into it. The game.
Ha.
Okay. So ESPN during college football season, they always have like how they break down the top 25 games in like word form. They just say like the game was over when dot dot dot.
Mhm.
So, Dan, the game was over when
Um, when the Eagles took the field. Period. It was over then. It was over then. It was over then. It wasn't over then, but it certainly felt like that from the very beginning. I mean, it was over in the second quarter.
yeah.
It was over in the second quarter. Patrick Mahomes throws an interception. Ball game. Ball game. Like part of me was still like, this is still Patrick Mahomes. But I
Yeah.
mean, when you set the record, they set all these records. Second fewest passing yards, points, all these like second fewest. Because we even like looking back, we're like, wonder what the record is. And it's like from the 70s. It's the Steel Curtain. Um, it's like you just don't have it. You're not going to be able to turn it around and keep up with not only Philly's defense, but the way their offense was just holding onto the ball and moving slowly. It's like there's not enough possessions left. There's simply
Yeah.
not enough possessions left. And unless Jalen Hurts turns into a pumpkin, mm-mm, no, 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 no. It was over early. It was over early. What moment was it for you? When did you know?
when Patrick Mahomes threw the pick six.
There you go.
Because the way that he threw it, and I've been watching, the Chiefs are on TV a lot. We've watched a lot of these Chiefs games where you're just like, wait, the Chiefs are going to lose today, and then they just don't.
Yeah.
And Patrick Mahomes, like scrambled, does his thing, he throws crossbody, and Cooper DeJean looked like he knew exactly what he was going to do. He wasn't just standing right there. Like when they showed the replay, he was like moving with Patrick Mahomes. Like he knew if he juked this way, went this way, and then threw a crossbody exactly where the ball was going to go. And I was like, whoa, this is like next level defensive back shit.
Yeah.
And then he ended up taking it to the house. The interception was enough, but he ended up taking it to the house. That's when I was like, they're inside his head. It's over. This is done.
Yeah.
Like this game is over. Like they went up 17-0 at that point. I was like, this is done. Like, because literally it was at that point where it was like, Jalen Hurts with the lead, I'll take it all day. They can just start running the ball and they can call the tush push for the next 2 quarters.
Yeah.
And just run the shit out.
Seriously. So, and like they couldn't even, and Saquon Barkley didn't have a great game. They maintained him, but the fact that the Eagles offense still looked as good as it did, chugging along, it's like without the running game, they're doing this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there was just no way. There was just no way you're going to be able to slow them down. And because they just kept pushing. They just kept pushing on offense and the defense. I mean, the Phillies defense can't get enough credit. The pressure that they put on Mahomes without blitzing was incredible. They didn't blitz him. They played. I heard this on radio. Don't take me too seriously. They played zone 4 against Mahomes like the whole game. And so they took away the middle of the field where he always just does these dump passes to Kelsey all day. And they were like, we're not going to let you do that. Go ahead with your single coverage on the outsides. Take your chance there. We trust our guys. And then we're going to bring the pressure. We're going to bring pressure. It was incredible what they were able to do. And just whoop that ass.
Yeah.
Whoop that ass.
I mean, tore them apart. And now let's go to Chris, because I'm sure Chris, Mr. I went to bed before halftime. I'm embarrassed of him sometimes. But yeah, let's go to whatever he has to say about the game. Let's do it.
Hey fellas, how you doing? Chris here, jumping into the podcast because I cannot record with you guys tonight. But I did want to chime in and look at this. If you're not watching, you should watch.
Get out of here.
Go over to YouTube. Watch the beginning of this podcast episode. That's a Super Bowl champion right there. And Diddy asked me to bring some heat here on the podcast today. Can't quite say
it's true
that there's anything hotter than that. So, I don't know, man. What else do you want me to say? Nothing. Everything about that game pales in comparison to the kneel on the very last play. That's all I got. That's all I got for you. The halftime show, didn't even watch it. Kendrick to me, he sounds like a grandpa rapping, and he has sounded that way to me ever since he broke onto the scene, and I can't take him seriously. The commercials, everybody was telling me what was in the commercials before the game even started. So whatever. And then my kids were just running around the house screaming the entire time the game was on. So I barely focused on anything anyway. I did have Velveeta football shapes earlier in the day before the game. Can confirm that they're quite tasty. The integrity holds up with the cheese. Okay. Worth the $3 and however many cents I paid for them. But again, guys, at the end of the day, like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? We're talking about former Pitt football quarterback Kenny Pickett. He's a Super Bowl champion. So is Avonte Maddox and A.J. Woods, other former Pitt football players. There's really nothing else to be said today, I don't think. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. But now, see, the problem is we just have to somehow survive the next 7 months without any football. It's going to be a hard time for me. I hope you guys will be there for me. But this image helps. Dan, I know you've been loving the last 2 minutes and 15 seconds of this. Didi, I know this has been painful for you, but one day, no, I can't even finish that. I couldn't get 3 words into that sentence. I was going to try to say that a Mountaineer quarterback would, that's never going to happen, right? It's never going to happen. So, hail to Pitt. Good job. Go Birds. As a Steeler fan, I feel awful, but save that for another day. Have a great episode. Look forward to hearing whatever you say after you play this video. Dan, congrats. It was a big day for both of us. And I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, Didi, but good luck. Okay, bye.
All right, so many things to say quickly with that. First of all, you did ask him to bring some heat, and he did. He did. He maybe poured it on a little heavier on you than he needed to with the West Virginia thing. Second of all, he couldn't be more correct about one Kenneth Pickett. Super, super happy. And in fact, in the first quarter, watching the game amongst friends and colleagues, and I said, KP time. When KP time happens, it's going to get loud in here, and he's taking the last knee of the game. Laughs amongst the crowd. Oh, but 3.5 hours later, who was laughing? Your boy, wearing his right over my right shoulder, and if you're watching, my Kenny Pickett jersey, and super ecstatic for the man with the fine lettuce, Kenny Pickett, Super Bowl champion, now has the same amount of rings as Mike Tomlin. What a day. What a day. We're going to hold on to his halftime comment, Didi. There's so much I want to say about that. We will hold on to that until we talk halftime. But on the surface, on the game, how could you not be happy? Kenny Pickett, Super Bowl champion.
I forgot. I was embarrassed of you last night, too. So not only was I embarrassed of one podcast co-host, I was embarrassed of Dan. Because shouts to Christy. Sent me a picture. Well, first, shouts to Christy, because the game was such a blowout. She was like, hey, I forgot to buy Girl Scout cookies from Saoirse. Yep. And I was like, please don't do that. Shipping costs $13 for Girl Scout cookies, which to me says not worth it. I'll hit you up the next time my daughter's school needs money for something, and it's better served that way. So she also sends me a picture of you wearing your Kenny Pickett jersey that's behind you backwards. And I was like, just embarrassed.
I got your message, by the way. I did get your message. And I only turned it around when he got in the game. I wore the jersey the whole party. But when it KP time, I was like, I should be wearing this front forward. It's time. Let's go.
Just embarrassed. Chris went to bed at halftime. You were wearing a Kenny Pickett jersey backwards. I'm embarrassed. I'm just embarrassed to be on this podcast.
It's a great day.
Embarrassed.
Fly Eagles fly. I got my green on today. It's a good day. It's a good day.
All right. Well, let's get into it. Halftime show. Let's do it. We've talked enough about the game.
Yeah.
Game was terrible.
Wait, there is one thing I want to talk about the game.
Oh,
it's not actually about the game itself, but it's game adjacent.
Okay.
The graphics on the Fox TV broadcast were so bad. So bad. It may be the worst in Super Bowl history. The just huge block KC, huge block PHI, same font, team colors, and then the floating clock, and too big, too much floating. There was a very subtle, dark, kind of black gray gradient behind the clock, so you could kind of see it when it would be over a white yard marker. Fox, terrible, horrible. You got to test these things with intelligent people that watch football. And I thought, big time fail in the Fox graphic department.
Okay. See, I saw people talking about it. I just didn't feel any way about it. I was like, oh, when the game turned, I was like, that looks different. But honestly, I thought, I was like, maybe Fox has been doing this all year, and I know. And then I saw people talking about it, and I was like, I don't know. It didn't hit me either way. I was like,
Hated. Yeah, they should. Yeah. I hope that. I think there are more. I didn't hear anybody. You're at least neutral. I didn't hear anybody that said that they liked it. Fox, come on. You got to do better. But anyways, enough game talk.
All right. halftime. Let's get into it. Kendrick Lamar halftime show. I okay. I'm very annoyed with the discourse on the internet. But this has a lot to do with just me hitting the discourse of all things pop culture in these times, in the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever. Because the halftime show was fun to watch. It was visually stunning. It was cool. But here is the thing that I wish most people would just be honest with themselves about. The set list was terrible. Like, it was just very mid. And like, most of it was off an album that came out 4 months ago.
Yeah.
We've known Kendrick Lamar in our lives as a popular artist since 2011, 2012. And I just thought the set list could have been better. It's the Super Bowl. Like, it's the Super Bowl. He started the halftime show out with a snippet of a freestyle that's not even on an album.
Right.
I'm just like, what are we? So, listen, he did the show he obviously wanted to do, but like, I just wish people would be honest with themselves instead of saying, oh, the symbolism and this and that, and like just big braining this whole thing. It's like, that's fine to do with things, but like, it's the Super Bowl halftime show. Just play your hits. Like, play your hits, play your music, do your thing, and be enjoyable. The same way he was, it was just a lot of music that like people don't care about.
Sure.
You know?
Yep.
It's like Prince performing the halftime show in 2007 or whatever and performing new music. Like,
right.
what? No.
Right.
Like, that's not what we want. You know what I mean? It was just, I just wish people would just be very honest with themselves. They're trying to explain this performance away, like people do with Marvel movies or people do with music, people do with everything now. It's like they explain it to death and kind of make you feel like you're the stupid one for saying you didn't enjoy it. But it's like, listen, I don't need to know background. I don't need to know backstories to just be like, listen, I'm a music fan. I can watch the performance and to see it for what it is, right? There are some people, of course, bad faith actors everywhere who are going to hate this regardless. But some people are just like, hey, I want to see a show. And, you know, he didn't do all right. Dan, he didn't do all right. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like, in any year to do that song, which means so much to people, this was the time that the whole world needed to hear, we're going to be all right. With the president in the state, we needed to hear, we're going to be all right. And you didn't do the song.
Yes.
Like, you know, but, you know. So it's like, I thought it was fine. The Super Bowl halftime was fine. It was just like, I get why if people are like, I did not like it, they didn't need to get explained to death about it. It was just like, he didn't play, like, for the most part, unless Not Like Us is your favorite Kendrick song, you did not hear your favorite Kendrick song. True. And that's like part of the halftime show.
Yeah. Right.
Is hearing your favorite song.
Absolutely. You know, I'm not surprised that you feel that way, but I thought coming on here today, I'm like, and even just talking to people and even in the moment, I'm like, am I the only one that thought that set list wasn't good enough?
Nope.
And I'm very glad that we are on the same page. Because like, even when it ended, I was like, is that it? I was like, is that it? That's it? That's what we're getting? I was like, are we transitioning to another set somewhere? Nope. That's it. Oh. Yeah. I was thrown, I was enjoying it in the moment, but also like, this was a lot of new stuff. Like a lot of it, like mostly new stuff. And it's like, oh, humble. Okay. No, going back. Okay. We're playing the new album. We're doing that. I thought it was odd. I really did. And I'm glad we feel the same way. And I don't have to be the only one kind of with that crazy mindset. Because I guess it wasn't crazy. Good. I'm glad you reiterated that. Yeah, enjoyable, but felt like this is one of the biggest spotlight opportunities you're going to get in your life. And you don't play the songs that people enjoy the most and know you for the most. It just didn't make much sense.
Yeah, it's like you have a song that you just won all these Grammys for.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody, you have the song that everyone can't wait to hear, and it's like you almost. It was weird because you have a stadium tour that you're promoting, and like, if I'm somebody who was like, Kendrick's coming to my city, I think I would like maybe want to go. You're looking for those things like the Super Bowl and whatever to like make you want to go. Now you have to be worried, or you're like, is he not going to do my favorite song?
Right.
Like everything doesn't
Right.
have to be the Eras tour where you're playing songs off of albums that nobody wants to hear. It's just like, am I going to hear the songs that I want to hear? It's like he needs to send out a press release to tell everybody like, yo, we're playing all the songs on the tour. Because like, yo,
if
what
you're
are
on
we
the
doing
fence,
here?
if you're on the fence, you're not super confident after that. You're like,
No.
ooh, he just gonna play that album front to back, and you
Because
got the good stuff that we want to hear.
yeah. And it was just very Drake heavy. And I'm like, I understand that this was the Drake Kendrick beef, and I understand, but it's just like, you are an artist of yourself. And it felt like it was Kendrick featuring Drake to the point where, because it's like he did the Euphoria song, he did Not Like Us and teased Not Like Us like 3 times during the set.
Yes, he
which
did.
was funny because of like the lawsuit, and it was like people saying, was he going to perform it? Was he not?
Yeah,
Whatever,
right.
And
I did
so that
enjoy
was like funny, but it
Yeah.
still just felt like Drake was so present, and it shouldn't have been.
Right, and then you're like,
know?
this literally happened. Was like, was that Serena Williams? And then it was like, I think. Then we were like, yeah, it was. And then we were like, oh my gosh, yes, he did. Yes, they did. Serena and Drake did date. Oh wow,
Yes.
he went in. He went in on it.
Yeah, he did, but it was just like Drake
It was
and
just
Serena.
more of it. Yeah, it was just
You know?
more. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then it was like, and then people were like, Drake and SZA used to date or something like that. And I was like, guys, Drake is here to the point where the NFL might as well hit up Drake and be like, you want to do the halftime show next year? Because so,
Sir, would you like to
you know,
respond?
yeah. So setlist
A lot of
was
that.
just,
Yeah.
setlist was just off for me. And I just felt I would have done it differently, but he obviously wanted to do it. He obviously, this was what he wanted to do. He didn't want to do
Right.
the commercial performance with the hits. He didn't want to do it. I just kind of wish he would have. That's all.
Yeah.
Like, I like Kendrick, and I just wish he would have.
What did you think about the addition of Samuel L. Jackson?
It's fine.
I think I was hoping for more. I was like, oh, let's go. And then I was like, oh, is this just going to be this little character throughout the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Yeah.
Like, I just, and then I just, like, Kendrick is just Mr. I'm going to, like, big brain you to death instead of just giving you what you want. And that's always been my problem with Kendrick. So,
Were you interested in what did you think of the set? Because I feel like that's almost in line with what you said, that, like, it was very unique in a way where obviously you have like the kind of 4 PlayStation corners, and those were kind of the stages, but then they just utilized the middle of the field, like they just put this big sheet on the ground that looked like a street with the street lights. So it was simplistic in a way, but it also I think they did a nice job with the camera work with it. But like, it's the same set designer that did like Rihanna's floating stage and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you didn't know with Kendrick. It's like you could kind of strip it down and be like, we don't need all this frazzle dazzle stuff. And it was kind of a mix of both. I don't know. It was interesting. It was interesting. I kind of like how it played around the way that it did without being too overly complicated.
Well, that's the thing. That's another thing about it, is that when I talk about it being enjoyable, I enjoyed watching. I was like, man, Kendrick is out here moving. Like, he's running up and down the field. Like, he's everywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I thought that was cool. I thought the stage looked cool. I thought I thought when he's going in the circle, the way the camera was like during Not Like Us, I thought that was awesome. I thought just, when they were just going down that big white runway, I thought, all the people coming out of the car, that was fun to watch too.
Yeah.
Like, there was just a lot of visually stunning things about it. I just wish the set list would have been better. Like, that's all. Like the American flag with everybody standing up there and he's in the middle of it. Like, that was so cool looking. Like, there were a lot of things. Like, shouts to the people who creative designed the hell out of that thing. Like, it's awesome. And like, ever since Apple started doing the halftime show, which is like I think the fifth one or fourth one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the set design is incredible. Like
Yeah.
it's just people are all over the place moving, and it's just really cool. Yeah, and it made it enjoyable. I just was like, and it's not that I don't even like those songs. It's just like I was like, I just wanted other songs.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
you
with
know?
you.
And I just
with
and
you.
also, listen, God loves SZA and Kendrick. I hate that Luther song.
Ooh.
I hate that song.
No
I do
kidding.
not like that song at all.
Wow.
Like I don't like it. I don't. And I've heard it a million times. And usually when you hear a song on the radio a million times or forcing it down your throat, at some point you're just gonna start liking it. I just don't like that
It just
song.
never clicked.
No, I do not like that song. But you know, shouts to him and SZA.
Yeah.
I just don't like that song.
Yeah.
But yeah. But the halftime show was just fine for me. You
I'm
know?
with you.
It was
I'm with
fine.
you. One thing I learned is that I didn't know that Not Like Us has a dance. And he was just when he was stepping to the right and stepping to the left the first time he's singing it, I'm like, that's what I said. I go, oh, I didn't know Not Like Us had a dance. Like me walking into a room the next time to making an entrance, dun, 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 I'm just doing it. I'm like, very excited about that. I can't wait.
Just dancing on Drake's grave. Okay, well, before we get into the commercials, I gotta ask, is there someone in mind that you want to perform in the halftime show next year?
Oh, wow. And like the thing is, I feel like anything is possible anymore.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the restrictor plates have been pulled. Like it could really, really be anybody. Oh man, there's a lot of names coming to mind.
Like, well, the reason I thought this,
I got one.
Okay.
I got one.
The reason I thought this was because I'm like, outside of Drake doing the halftime show, and of course, there's Taylor, of course. Like, whenever she feels like doing the halftime show, it doesn't matter how old she is, she's going to do the halftime show, right?
Yep.
But she has the whole waiting to release all of her albums herself thing she wants to do.
Yeah.
But if it's not Drake or Taylor, I'm just kind of like, I don't know what to do because everybody I've wanted to see perform the halftime show has done it now. And, you know, I'm almost 40 years old, so maybe that's probably the reason. But like everybody's done it that I've kind of wanted to see do it. So I want them to just bring back a medley. Let's break out. Let's throw out all these new young people. Throw them out. Let's get Olivia Rodrigo out there. Let's get Sabrina Carpenter out there. Let's get a little Chappell Roan out there. Let's just start, you know, let's do it. You know, remember when MTV did the 2 halftime shows and they just had random shit going on. It was just like, why is Nelly singing with Aerosmith? I have no idea. Like, what's happening? Like, just the random ass shit halftime show. Like, I'm just ready we need to do a random one. Like, let's just throw some shit at the wall, see what sticks. Like, and then we can reset after that. I'm ready for that. Cause it's like none of these newer people, it's like, no, I don't want to see, there's no Sabrina Carpenter on Alone halftime show. There's no this halftime show, but I'm like, why not just give all these people a shot? You know what I mean? Like, let's get a little hot to go at the Super Bowl next year. Like, let's just get a bunch of shit going on. Let's do it.
Dude, I love that. You're right. The medley has always been some of the more entertaining ones. And we have seen some of the biggest names do it. But somebody I think who could bring a lot of features out or be part of that medley would be Ariana Grande. And the way that she performs in her performances with her sets and everything like that was like one of the first names that come to mind that she hasn't participated yet, but could feature a ton of people or be part of like just give us like those like 5 incredibly talented women.
Yeah.
You know, that you just listed. It's her, it's Sabrina, it's Chappell, it's Olivia. It's just like boom, like blow the roof off the place. I love the idea of a medley. You've got like convinced because those are some of the best ones, man. They really were.
It's like throw a bunch of these young women in there that just like stole Grammy night, like Doechii and all these people. It's like just do that. Like do like a all women crazy just whatever. Just do
Right.
that.
Right.
Because, you know,
For sure.
yeah. 'Cause if
Billy,
it's not
get
going to
Billy
be
in
Drake or
there.
Taylor, then just
No.
do something. Do something crazy.
Right. Oh, and by the way, speaking of that, real quick, before
Hit
we
it.
move on,
Hit it.
Chris is just so full in for Team Drake that he can't realize what's going on here. And his comment is that Kendrick sounds like an old grandpa. He just can't cross the line. Chris, you got to do better than that. It's
Yeah.
Drake has taken many, many of L's, and in fact, I'm sure you saw the video of him walking into his last concert with the sweatshirt that looked like it had bullet holes through it and smoke coming off his back.
Yes.
Like embracing it, and that's what Chris needs to do is just embrace the greatness of Kendrick. But he went to bed and probably didn't see it anyways, so
Yeah.
that's a shame. That's a
Yeah.
shame he feels that way.
They had that picture with Patrick Mahomes' face on it by the
Yeah.
end of the game. So, bullet holes in the back. So, man, halftime always brings out the best.
It
But, like,
does. It does.
all right, let's get into the commercials, Dan. Favorites? What you got?
Oh man, I was overall impressed and pleased
Me
with the
too.
Super Bowl commercials this year. Really, I know we had a couple of down years there for a while. It just seemed to drag and drag and drag, and it was just like, it's one thing to spend $8 million on a 30-second spot during the Super Bowl, but like you need to come with it. You need to save some money for production. Okay, I feel like that's what these companies get into. It's like they spend so much on the spot. Then you still have to pay to produce the spot. And they cut back there. And it's not entertaining or memorable. You have to be, those are your two options: entertaining or memorable. And if you're both, those are the greatest Super Bowl commercials of all time. You got to pick one of those lanes. You got to test the hell out of that spot before you spend all that money, put it out there, and then it just becomes forgotten. And nobody gives a shit. And there's still too much of that. But we've gotten better, and I thought it was a pretty well balanced year with a lot of great ones. Some that really, really, I mean, the one I'm hearing the most chatter about, one of the ones, is the Mountain Dew Baja Blast Seal as a Seal. Just entertaining and memorable. Right? Are they going to sell more Baja Blast because of it? Who freaking knows? But it's going to be one of those ones you don't forget, and I hope it still has legs. Sometimes you see a Super Bowl commercial, you see it once, and they pull it. Other times, they let that bad boy ride, and you'll be seeing it all the way through watching the Masters in a couple of months, and that'll be still going on. And apparently the extended version is even better. So if you haven't seen it, go find it on the internet. But that's the one that I got to start off with discussing just how like, and you got Seal. Seal was like, yes, I'm in. Seal as a Seal, I'm in. Let's go.
If you, here's the thing about that commercial. Okay, that commercial kind of missed me, but like I did think it was funny. Is if you didn't know that you could buy Mountain Dew Baja Blast in the store. That's a huge commercial
For sure. Yeah, you're like, wait a minute.
like
I thought it was a Taco Bell.
Yeah, because I'm wondering if like now that I think about it, after listening to you talk about it, I was like, I wonder if I would have known that if I didn't do this podcast where we talk about food and drinks that are in stores.
That's
and the
fair.
only reason I know that probably is because of this.
Mm-hmm.
So like there are probably a lot of people out there who had no idea that they could buy Baja Blast at Kroger.
Right.
And now I bet a lot of people went and grabbed up Baja Blast at their local grocery store.
For sure.
They had no idea because of that commercial.
It's a good point.
And how weird it was, but then it's Baja Blast.
Right.
So I mean, you're doing the job.
For sure. For sure. What stuck out to you the most?
Okay, stuck out to me the most. It was the first commercial break. Pfizer.
Oh.
The freaking Rocky cancer commercial with LL Cool J's freaking I'm gonna knock you out. He's running through the crowd at the hospital, running through the streets into his mom's arms. I'm like, Jesus.
I know.
Done for.
Heavy.
Just done for.
Yep.
Like, I'm like, first commercial break, guys. First one. First one. I'm supposed to watch football after that.
Right.
God damn. God, that commercial got me, man. I was like, this is shwoof, a lot. So, yeah. Yeah.
Memorable.
Shouts to
That's
Pfizer.
memorable. They did, and they came heavy.
Very memorable.
They came
Yeah.
heavy.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Let's see what else. We talk about Brews Day every week on this podcast. Not once has anybody ever mentioned they were drinking Michelob Ultra in the years that we've done this. And they have some very mediocre commercials that they've been running for years. Like, it's like the beer you drink after you're done playing some sort of sport or running some sort of marathon. Like, that's what they've been going on. Whoever their agency is should be fired. And I think they were, because the Catherine O'Hara, Willem Dafoe pickleball ad for Michelob Ultra this year, A stuff right there. It was entertaining, it was memorable, and it was kind of outside the norm for Michelob Ultra. They still kind of going on the, like, Michelob Ultra sports after a recreational activity thing. That's fine. Stay in your lane, but they went all out with those two. And so well, it was perfectly cast.
Yeah.
You could have picked two other people that were cheaper and it wouldn't have been nearly as good of a commercial. But I thought they nailed it with that.
Number one for me. Like, that was
Really?
everything for me. I thought that was just so well done. I thought the celebrity cameos in it were perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I thought just watching these, and also it made me think of the Brunch Breakdown and how we always were like, I don't care that you play pickleball, but it's a sport for old people. So it was cool to see them playing off of that, where it's like these two old people hustling all these young people at pickleball. And I just thought I thought that was just money that they played off of the fact that, like, guys, this is our sport. Like, get off the goddamn court. Like, Randy Moss, get out of here. Like, I thought that was just perfect. Like, everything about that commercial is freaking just perfect.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Yeah. Can I tell you what I have a tie for worst commercials?
Oh, I got a worse too.
Snoop and Tom Brady.
Ooh, yeah.
What on earth were they doing?
Yeah.
What on earth were they doing? I have one question about that, though, that is very important. I wonder if someone's going to answer that in the next couple of days. Maybe it's already been answered. Snoop got a lot of hate as Snoop was America's sweetheart this year, and then all of a sudden was performing at the Trump inauguration at a party in D.C., and then had a lot of hate. And then all of a sudden this commercial comes out where he and Tom Brady are talking about people in online discourse and how we all need to be nicer to each other and things like that. So, found that to be very interesting. Wonder if that commercial was always had Tom Brady and Snoop in it, or if all of a sudden Snoop replaced somebody in the last couple of weeks because he needed to do that. But it was stupid. Like, him and Tom Brady yelling at each other, like, "What? Oh, wow, America, we all love each other." It's beautiful.
Right. And then,
I feel nicer now.
It got played more than once, and it was just like, I get what the intent was, but it was just like, no, this isn't landing. This isn't landing for what you're trying to do. Like, I get it, but it's not. No. And the selection of who was in it just certainly didn't make it any easier.
Yeah.
Rocket Mortgage, Rocket, all that stuff. What on earth were they doing? Playing country roads, and you didn't know who it was for. And I'm just like so mad hearing this, and I'm going, no. And somebody goes, did West Virginia really take out an ad for the Super Bowl? Like, did they really do that? They're like, we don't need to just go regional. We're going national with this thing. And then I saw the Rocket logo flash in the background of one of the images. And I was like, is this what they're doing? And then they come back from break, and the actual stadium, the Caesars Dome, whatever they call that thing, was singing it. I'm like, this is barf. This is so barf. Like, no. Quicken or Rocket, whoever you are, Massive failure.
So I will only say this. As you guys know, I do not like that song. I hate
Mhm.
that song. I do not like that song. Um, but also I have made a lot of money over the last 2 years off of Rocket Mortgage. So shouts to you guys. This great commercial,
That's
Super Bowl.
true. That's
Great commercial.
true.
I'm being biased, so like,
That's
you know,
fair.
second best commercial of the night. Shouts to
I will let you
Rocket.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've made a lot of money off of Rocket in their ads over the past couple years, so I'm not gonna say anything about Rocket.
Would have rather seen you in it. They should at least had you in it.
Dude,
You know, there's your
it just
tie.
went on for it just
It
went on
did.
for
I'm like, oh my
it
god.
just kept going. Then it went straight to the stadium. So they paid for that too.
Yo,
So
yeah.
like just to let you know how much, listen, you're getting paid a lot. You're paying a lot of money for insurance and all these things and whatever. But yeah, Rocket. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's a lot of money in that ad. Cause like I just wonder how much is it to do the ad is 8 million just to have the ad on.
Right.
And then to do the stadium stuff. Because there were a couple things like that. Bud Light did it too.
Yep.
And I'm like, how much is that? Is that
Yeah.
more money to do the whole tricking the viewer thing? Like, I need to know that.
Yeah.
Like, how do you set that up? Because that has to be more. That has to be more money. That's more production value. You gotta start. I
There
gotta
has to
know
be.
about that.
Yeah.
Like,
that cost needs to come out.
yeah,
Because that's
I need to know.
really amplifying it.
Yeah, because
For
it
sure.
really does. Like, you got the whole stadium thing, and it just keeps on going into the game. So, yeah, I
Right.
wonder that too. But also, another worst. And Post Malone and Shane Gillis.
Ooh.
So I didn't know that they were like basically teasing that commercial over the past like month because like
Yes.
it was them in the, driveway or whatever. And I thought those were funny.
Yeah.
This long ass commercial that brought in Peyton Manning and they're shooting Bud Lights at people's yards, which I'm like, if someone shot a Bud Light at your yard, I'm calling the police. Okay? I don't like now if you shoot something good, cool. But I don't want to just all of a sudden have Bud Light just plop into my thing. I'm like, oh man, that means the invitation to the party. Let's go. No. I just couldn't think of a party that I would just least want to be at than Shane Gillis, Post Malone, and then Peyton Manning is the next door neighbor. I don't want to be anywhere near that party.
I feel like it was a letdown. That commercial could have been funny.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. When you have literally a comedian.
Yeah.
A Hall of Fame football player who has been very comedic since his departure in Post Malone. How could it not land? But it didn't.
It didn't.
It didn't at all.
And I liked the shorter commercials.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah,
through
right.
The playoffs. I thought those were funny.
Right.
And this just wasn't.
Didn't.
And I like Shane Gillis's Buffalo Wild Wings commercial. Like I like that.
Yeah.
It's just fun. I don't know. I just didn't. Man, just didn't work.
Let down.
Didn't work.
I will give my award for most creative, and it like isn't. Let me put it this way: it's not like so outside the box type of thinking, like the plot and the writing. Like this is just something that somebody should have done a long time ago. It's simple, but I thought it was so for you to want to remember this brand, you're like, what would they have been able to do? But shout out to Angel Soft for the bathroom break commercial. Just a 30-second countdown for your bathroom break. I thought was clever beyond something we've seen in a long time. Again, simple, but it's like, yo, we're sponsoring the bathroom break. We're Angel Soft, and here you go. They were basically saying, go, what are you waiting for? This is your chance to throw $8 million at that. That's putting trust in your brand, and I appreciated it.
Yeah, that was great. Because I was waiting for something else, and it was like, wait,
right.
Did you really just do that?
Right.
This is it. That was pretty great. Yeah, and dude, I thought it was a good commercial year. I just really did.
Yeah,
I thought
agreed.
it was a good commercial year. I'm a big, I'm usually easy on the commercials anyways. Like there's always sometimes where there's like the annoying, like the crypto year. That was a lot.
Yeah. Temu.
Commercial I was disappointed in. The Dunkin' Donuts commercial.
Same, man. Same.
They tried too hard. I don't know what they were doing. They had a thing.
Yeah.
And it just went and it just didn't work. I had high hopes for that because I really enjoyed what they've done with Duncan. Didn't. But head scratcher commercial. Little Caesars had a commercial, and all I could think of while watching the commercial, like I'm gonna have to watch the commercial again because I don't really know what was going on. All I thought was I looked at Siobhan and I was like, Little Caesars has $8 million plus like celebrities for an ad.
Off these
Like
$5
Little
pizzas.
Caesars? Little Caesars has money like that they're just gonna like blow it. I get it if there's a Little Caesars commercial during the NBA finals, NHL finals,
Sure, right.
Masters, Oscars, something like that. Cool.
Yeah.
But I'm like, Super Bowl? They got $8 million over there. Did they close like 10 Little Caesars to make this happen? Like what?
Right.
It was a big head scratcher for me. I don't even know what the commercial was about. I was just like, they got $8 million?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like when avocados from Mexico had like the first one out of the block a couple years ago. You're like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like
'Cause
bizarre.
all the others, I'm like, all right, yeah. It's like I know
Yeah.
why you got the 8 million. All the insurance companies and everything else. I get it. But I was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Little Caesars.
Yeah. How many $5 pizzas are you selling to get to that? That's a lot of money to throw at that.
A lot.
Yeah, for sure. But no, yeah, it was good year for commercials.
Yeah.
I was also let down by Duncan, Uber Eats with Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey for most commercial appearances, he gets the award for that. I think he was in 3, 2 for Salesforce, 1 for Uber Eats. He's been in that Uber Eats one, leading up to it all season long, and I thought they finished pretty well with that. Pringles was really bizarre with the mustaches, like talking into the can and the flying mustaches.
Yeah.
And then a late one late in the fourth quarter, Stella with David Beckham and Matt Damon. Some good lines in there. It wasn't a home run, but I think I had some good lines as well.
Yeah. Also, what commercial was Aubrey Plaza in?
Ritz. It was like for saltiness, and they were talking about Ritz.
Because she just looked good. That was it. Like she just looked really good in it.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
I don't know what you're selling, but
right?
I'll see you. Aubrey
on that
Plaza.
Ritz Club cracker diet, whatever it takes.
Seriously. I was like, God damn, Aubrey Plaza looking good in that commercial. So yeah, I don't know what she was selling. I was just like, shit. Go ahead, Aubrey. All right.
Oh man.
Oh man. Well, yeah, good commercial year.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Dan, music stuff. What'd you think of? Did you get to hear America the Beautiful?
Yes.
Lauren Daigle and Trombone Shorty. That may have been the best rendition of America the Beautiful.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
And everybody was feeling it. Right?
Dude.
They were just like, they're moving with it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, okay, this is good. Right? They're about to sit through the national anthem and have to kind of be statuesque. Like, New Orleans, let's go.
Yeah.
Thank you for that rendition.
Yes.
Like, awesome.
Like, America the Beautiful with some bounce to it was nice.
Yeah.
This is awesome. So,
that should be the official version moving forward. That's it.
Yes. Love that. Well, anything else before we put the Super Bowl to bed, sir?
It was just nice to enjoy it. It was all around. I mean, blowout and everything considered. You know what? Screw the Chiefs. Fly Eagles fly. It's just happy to see that all come to a crashing halt. Just
until next year.
Certainly didn't see it coming. Yeah, certainly didn't see it coming until next year. But yeah. Overall, an enjoyable experience. Fox sucks, but other than that, excited for the next network next year.
Yeah.
Like watching the pregame show, I'm seeing Jimmy Johnson break down. I'm like, what's going on here? Like just trying to get some buff chick dip, and I'm just like, we got too many emotions on the screen. Gronk's an idiot half the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta say, what last thought, the beginning of the Super Bowl, did you see that at 3 when it came on? And it's like Tom Brady and Michael Strahan walking down Bourbon Street.
Yes.
And then Lady Gaga performs for some reason.
Yeah.
I understand giving love to the firefighters and all that, and that's cool. Do that as much as you possibly can. I understand. but there was just something about Lady Gaga performing in like her Wicked Witch of the West costume in the middle of Bourbon Street that just didn't land. It was just like, you're in the middle of Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
Like, this should be joyful, you know, or something. And it was weird because they did all these things before that, where it was like they had this like introduction to the game with Harry Connick Jr. and like Master P's out there, and they got the Southern band playing. And they're just playing all these songs from people from New Orleans or whatever, and it was just like so fun and so jovial and so New Orleans. And then you head to Bourbon Street to listen to Lady Gaga sing a sad song on a piano,
right,
with forced claps from the God.
Right. Oh yeah.
I was like, I don't know what. Like, it's like, yeah. And then Brad Pitt had some long speech about America. I was like, we don't have to do this.
No, right. Just
like,
too much pouring it on, too thick.
We don't have to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Tom Cruise, get the hell out of here, man. Like,
Tom
gosh.
Cruise too.
Come
There's
on. Yeah.
A lot going on. Yeah. But listen, Super Bowl, because we get to talk about it. It's enjoyable. It's fun. Like,
it is.
Gave us a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
South Super Bowl. Well, let's get into music. Daniel, what you got?
Let's do that. Let's do just that. Lisa, Doja Cat, Ray.
Ooh.
When I saw those three ladies in the lineup there, and I was like, this should be tasty. Born Again is the name of the track, and it's just a banger. Forces of nature coming together. The chorus is amazing. Love the harmonies throughout. Powerful song. Just chills. It's one of those ones where I heard it for the first time. Instant repeat to jam. Born Again.
Beautiful. So I'm gonna put a little Tank and the Bangers on the playlist because they won a Grammy.
Hell yeah, brother.
Last week. So shouts to Tank and the Bangers. I'll probably put Spaceships on there. I love that song, but whatever. I was just so hyped when I saw the Tank and the Bangers won a Grammy. Like, love that. Shouts to Tank and the Bangers.
Love that. I am bummed we couldn't talk Grammys recap, but I honestly think that might have been that might have been the greatest Grammys ever. And like, I'm not talking about the awards. I'm just talking about the show. I think the show, the performances might be one of the greatest ones I've ever seen. I thought it was an amazing watch. And some upsets in there. And I just thought it was really good. I
thought it was it was too long. It was 3:45.
Oh gosh, way too long.
It was way too long. 3:45 is like, what are we doing? 4 hours is stupid.
Yep.
But honestly, it felt like the Grammys or the VMAs now.
Yeah.
It felt like it.
Yeah, it did.
And I was like, you know what award show I probably enjoy the most was the VMAs.
Yeah.
So in the Grammys, I felt like this year, it felt like that. Maybe because it was so youthful. It was so
very youthful.
Young.
Yeah.
Like this, I thought the best new artists like medley thing was cool because you got to think in other Grammy years, it would have been, they would have had like Chappell Roan performing with like Stevie Nicks or Cyndi Lauper or something like that.
Right.
She wouldn't have been performing her own song. Like think about it. Like think about
100%.
best new artists from back in like any time in the past. It's like they got to perform with somebody old. You know what I mean? Even if that person old, it's cool and it's a good performance. Like I remember when like Beyonce was like on her first album, she had to perform with Prince though. She couldn't just perform by herself.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought it was cool that you got to highlight a lot of these younger artists who had big years. Like Teddy Swims getting performed all of Lose Control and not just being thrown on some side stage getting cut off at a commercial.
Right.
Like I thought that was cool.
Yes.
Like I thought that was awesome. Like I don't love that Benson Boone song, but yo, dude did a friggin' front flip off a piano. Shouts to you, dude. Do your thing. Like I thought it was a great show. And I even thought like the awards were good too. I was like, listen, award the songs. But then like, of course, the Grammys couldn't go without being Grammys though. Cause like they did give Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars Die With a Smile a Grammy.
Yeah, right.
Which is like the most Grammy thing.
I kind of knew that too. I was like, oh, that's winning.
You knew it.
That's the only one I was like, that's definitely winning.
The most,
sure.
The most Grammys moment was Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars winning for Die With a Smile. But no, I thought it was great. Kendrick getting record of the year and song of the year. Like I thought that was like the Grammys just getting it right. It was
awesome.
Like, that was the record of the year.
Awesome.
And I was surprised with song of the year, but then I was listening to a podcast the day after and it was like, he was the only person in that category who was the only songwriter.
Wow.
On the song. And so they're like, that is like, honestly, the most traditional Grammys thing is to give it to the songwriter. And he was the only person that was like, every other song, Fortnite, Taylor Swift, Post Malone, everybody, blah, blah, blah. And it's like all these other songs.
Jack and everybody is,
Jack and everybody. Writers. Same thing with Texas Hold'em and Espresso and everything else. It was like, but Not Like Us was just Kendrick Lamar. That was it. And I was like, oh, all right. Well, that was it.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was a great night. Beyonce winning for Cowboy Carter. Like, I thought that was cool. And there was just, it was a great show.
It was
a great show.
It really was.
Just a really great show. But yeah. Grammys recap too. Let's go.
I know.
We
jam packed. I love it.
Let's do it.
I love it.
Packed.
Oh man.
Go. All right. What else you listen to, man?
Let's see. Well, we've been talking so much about her. I got to throw this on because I was like, this song doesn't deserve to be this good, but it is. Abracadabra, Lady Gaga. Just, man, I can't not like that song. I can't not. It's good. I'm like, yo, if Gaga's bringing the heat like this for this new album, let's go. Yeah. See if she still got it. But Abracadabra, indeed.
Yeah. Lady Gaga doing what I don't know why more people do this. It's like, we liked you for a reason. You were the biggest at this point. You're not going to be that big again. No one expects you to be.
Sure.
But we just want that feeling again. It's like, I wish Katy Perry would do that and just be like, listen, stop trying to be young. You're not young anymore. Can you just do the things that you did in between 2009 and 2011, sort of, and then just like, so it blends in? Because the thing I heard when they did that commercial for Abracadabra during the Grammys, all I thought was, I was like, this will sound really good next to Bad Romance. I'm in.
Yes, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like,
100%.
I get sick of these artists that do these things that don't sound good with the stuff we actually want to hear on your show. It's like, I was like, this will sound great. Like, shouts to Gaga. Like, I'm ready. Yeah.
For sure.
So I put The Weeknd on last week. I'm putting him on again because I would like to apologize to The Weeknd. This album's really good, man.
Ooh.
It is. It's just an hour and a half just annoys me because you can't get through it, But then I was driving a lot this week. So I got a chance to listen to this like in the way that you're supposed to. And I got to tell you, The Weeknd. I'm going to throw Give Me Mercy on the playlist. I might throw another one on there too, but this is an album that's really good, man. The back half, I feel like it's very strong, like very, very strong, but like, it's a good album. I just, an hour and a half is just annoying. It just is. Like, I can't say it's not, but to say that this album is mediocre is just wrong. This is really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Interesting you said that, and interesting you picked that song. That's exactly the song that I was going to put on this week too.
Nice.
Because I was like, okay, let me give this the full gamut here, run it through. And I agree with you. The first 8 songs are just unnecessary.
Yeah.
But if you can just hone in on what you're hearing and the uniqueness of those 9 on, it is. And I think the problem is his last album was out of control good from start to finish. It was near perfect. It was near perfect. And so like, that's the expectation now for him. And he's got it. He just went long with it this time. But so Give Me Mercy was the one that I was like, second time through. That stuck out. That didn't get on last week. Put it on this week. Also great to see him back at the Grammys. I thought that was very cool.
That was cool.
The way that they did that. And they also gave him the whole stage versus the half stage, welcoming him back. Super awesome. But just give that album a little bit more time to marinate. I think it's some good feedback.
Yeah. I'll enjoy the show with him in Future on the playlist. Give Me Mercy on there. It's just, the album's really good. I had to apologize.
I like it. That's fair. That's fair.
For that. All right. And my last one, going to Teddy Swims. Cause I was driving a lot this week. She Likes the Rain. Dude.
My goodness.
Nothing like driving by yourself and listening to Teddy Swims. Because you'll be thinking about a lot of things. And I got to tell you, She Likes the Rain. So maybe she could love me somehow. That is the most beautiful thing. Because the rain sucks.
Yeah.
So if she loves that shit, she could love you.
Yeah.
Man, that's good.
Amazing.
That's just great songwriting right there. Like,
100%.
freaking Teddy, man. That album is so good, and we've already talked about how good that album is, but like just that song was like, man, you're driving by yourself for way too long this week. Let me tell you. That song hits. That song hits. So shout out to Teddy Swims.
I love it.
Any more?
That's it. That's rounds it out. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen to the Sounds of Brunch playlist, updated every week, and tell Siri, tell Alexa to play the Sounds of Brunch. Daniel, any final thoughts on the jam-packed brunch breakdown?
Of course, Didi, we went over Super Bowl prop bets last week. Potentially an opportunity to make some money if you listen to either of us. One bet in particular I wanted to call out before we wrapped up here today. The number was 2.5, and the prop bet was number of players that throw a pass in the Super Bowl. Kenny Pickett won you some money because he was the only other player besides the two starting quarterbacks to throw a pass on a 4th down for no good reason at the end of the game. Over hits, Kenny Pickett, cash it. Super Bowl champ.
And that's the brunch breakdown. I will not be here next week.